Aloha, beloveds. Again, mahalo for joining us today. Today I want to talk to you about this amazing thing called quantum physics. You know, when I first started studying and learning about quantum physics, it made so much sense to me on the level of consciousness. Quantum physics really is an easy way to explain it is if you've ever seen the movie of going up the Alaska and it's in the springtime and the big trucks are going up and the ruts are very sunk into the permafrost that's melting and they can't even get out of it. It's very one lane all the way up to Alaska. And this is the way that the brain works. The brain likes habit. We want to only know that we can be addicted to two things in this lifetime. One of them is loving and the other one's drinking water, and everything else in moderation. So remember those things. So quantum physics is about looking at how do we continually do the same things and create the same scenarios and the same illnesses and pain inside of our body, mind, and our spirit. And how do we get out of it? And so if we want to unplug from all of this, we need to understand how the physics of ourselves really works. And so if you've ever seen a gecko, and here in Hawaii we have geckos that are around all over the place, and and if you see the bottom of their feet, they have these little teeny tiny suction cups, which means they can travel on the ceilings everywhere. And if you see a neuron stuck to a neural pathway in your brain under a microscope, you can see that the neurons have little suction cups on the end of them. And what they do is they stick on to these neural pathways so that it goes faster to get the information, which is what the brain wants, to get it to the area as fast as possible. And so what we want to do is understand that it's very easy for us to change our lives using quantum physics. And that is, when you see yourself doing a pattern that isn't very healthy, like moving into anger, or moving into sadness, or moving into disconnect, or moving into feeling unworthy, or worthless, or powerless, or unsafe. These are all issues that we don't want to be walking with anymore. You picked them up before you were 8 years old, but you don't have to have them. And so you can start by moving them out by unplugging neural pathways. And so let's say you're smoking, let's use this as an example, and you want to quit smoking cigarettes. And so what you want to do is understand every time you're smoking a cigarette, you're creating a habitual pattern. So you're doing it the same time after you eat, maybe after you make love, maybe after certain specific times that you're doing, in between work patterns, whatever. So what you want to do is never do those same patterns again. So I tell people, if you're going to smoke a cigarette, make a list of why you want to stop and why you don't, because there's both reasons, and you don't want to be hard on yourself just because you don't want to do it and beat yourself up over it, because that's not going to help. You're going to just make conscious decisions. And so you read that before you have a cigarette, why you want it, why you don't, and then you step up on a chair, or you go in and stand on your toilet and smoke your cigarette, and your brain's going to go, what are you doing? This is not normal. This is not habitual. And then what happens is it'll immediately unplug and unsuck off one neural pathway and go on to another one, and you've created a new habit. This can be done with anything: biting your fingernails, saying sorry so much. Catch yourself doing it and do something else. Do a different pattern. When I first got this, and I didn't want to have a back injury anymore from a car wreck, I wanted to make sure I never got that again because I didn't know if I could survive it. I would even drive home different ways. My kids would say, Mom, you're moving the furniture around again. Yeah, because I didn't want my brain to have any habits. So if you want to unplug from habitual patterns, it's very easy to do. You don't have to make it so hard. You just don't do the same thing. Do it different. Do it so outrageously different that your brain goes, what are you doing? And it'll unplug and suck onto a new one, and you are working quantum physics. And that works even coming to do the cleanse. Many people feel like, I don't have enough finances to do it, or I don't have enough this, or I don't have enough time, or who's going to watch my dogs and my children, and all these excuses that tend to get in the way for you to be the clear vessel. And so I tell people, just unplug from all of those and know that, and say this: thank you, I'm worth it. Thank you, I'm worth it. Write it down, put it in your most beautiful handwriting, put it in your bedroom, and you're looking at it morning and night, and you're starting to now state of vibratory command working quantum physics to Creator, because you and God have a contract that says when I'm ready to be the clearest vessel ever, you're going to help me and provide the way, and you don't have to figure it out. You just know that you're worth it, and know that you, being a clear divine being that can show up and change the world with your smile and your light and your love, is very worthy to the Creator. And so all you have to do is state it. Thank you, I'm worth it. Write it down, put it up, and watch what happens, and miracles happen. And that's, again, working quantum physics. Quantum physics means unplugging from things you don't want to do and moving into something you do, changing habitual patterns, and watch how things change. And I want to add a little thing about quantum physics too. In my book, You Don't Have to Hurt Anymore, I talk about a study that was done by a whole bunch of military experts, like Green Berets and Navy SEALs and all of this. And what they did was they took some DNA code out and put it in a petri dish, and then they took it 500 miles away from where they were, and then they showed the soldiers war pictures and devastation, and they watched in the petri dish 500 miles change inside the petri dish. And then when they showed them pictures of babies and kittens and happy things, 500 miles away, the DNA changed in the petri dish, which means to show you that when you change your patterns to more love, more light, more hope, more transformation, more happiness, you change your patterns 500 miles away in all directions. You're worthy of it, beloved. And so work your quantum physics that you're choosing now to change your life to a happier, prosperity, more permanent peace way of life. A way that you can be the solution to the planet, and we're so thankful for you. Mahalo.